What if humanity's final words were not written on paper, not carved into stone, but etched in fire across the surface of a dying star? What if our story was burned into light itself, destined to be read by civilizations we will never meet? This is the tale of Elias Corven, the man who gave humanity its last chance to be remembered. By the 27th century, Earth was no longer the jewel it once had been. Oceans boiled under centuries of climate failure. Megacities cracked under their own weight. Wars for resources burned away what little hope remained. Humanity had spread across colonies and nearby systems, but even those were fragile, mere echoes of a once thriving species. It wasn't extinction that frightened people. It was being forgotten. Other civilizations had come and gone, leaving no trace. Whole empires had risen in the galaxy, and nothing of them remained but silence. Humanity feared the same fate. So the Stellar Scribe Project was born. Not to save bodies, not to carry ships into new worlds, but to carry memory. To ensure that if humanity disappeared, our voice would still be heard. Elias Corven was not a soldier, not a leader, not a scientist of machines. He was a linguist, a mathematician, a man obsessed with patterns. He believed language was not bound to flesh. It could be carved into the very fabric of reality. When others spoke of migration fleets and cryogenic vaults, Elias proposed something heretical. We will not survive in flesh, but perhaps in light. His idea was as mad as it was magnificent. Use stellar projectors to inscribe humanity's legacy onto the photosphere of a dying star. Words burned into plasma, carried in pulses of radiation, broadcast across the galaxy. A star could outlive stone. A star could outlive cities. A star could make our voice eternal. They found their canvas in Erebos 9, a massive red giant on the edge of collapse, trembling on the brink of supernova. Its surface boiled with storms larger than planets, its heart beat with unstable fury. Perfect. For 20 years, Elias and a small team lived in orbit of the monster star, building colossal satellites and projectors, machines that could twist the magnetic fields, sear light into order, bend chaos into meaning. Every day, Elias wrote, not with ink or stone, but with equations that shaped fire. Every phrase carved itself across the stellar surface, glowing brighter than flares. The first sentence read, "We dreamed of the impossible." Then the star flared, carrying the message outward across light years. We were fragile, yet we endured. We loved, we built, we failed, we rose again. Elias wove not just words, but entire histories, songs encoded in solar pulses, genetic blueprints folded into magnetic fields, maps of constellations marked with humanity's wanderings. He wrote of our flaws and our wonders, the wars that nearly broke us, the art that defined us, the love that bound us, the hope that refused to die. Soon, alien astronomers from distant systems noticed strange anomalies in Erebos 9's light. At first, they thought it was noise, then natural rhythm. But as they decoded it, they found language. They found humanity. At last, Erebos 9 reached its end. The star convulsed, collapsing under its own weight. Light bent. Plasma screamed. Elias, frail and dying, sent one last command to the projectors, a single line. If you find this, know that we lived, we dreamed, and we still burn in the light of stars. Then, the star exploded. The supernova scattered his words, multiplied them 1,000,000-fold, sending fragments of humanity's memory into every corner of the galaxy. The legacy was no longer bound to one system. It became woven into the very dust of creation. Elias's body was lost, but his words became eternal. 1,000 years later, an alien civilization decoded the patterns in the remnants of Erebos 9. They found stories of Earth, of oceans and skies, of love and sorrow. They found humanity. They whispered our name. They sang our songs. They carried us forward. Humanity was gone, but never forgotten. Elias Corven had written humanity's future not on stone, not on books, but on fire. And though the earth had crumbled, though flesh had failed, our voice endured, etched into the skin of a dying star, echoing forever in light. If this story touched you, imagine what else waits to be remembered in the stars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because together, we can keep humanity's fire burning across the universe.